I'm Tony Filippone, and I'm here to answer the question today. How can I choose the best investments inside of my 401k? And this is a good question, especially nowadays. Today, it seems that a lot more and more 401ks seem to be pushing people or guiding people towards using what's called a target date fund. Maybe you've heard that before. So a target date fund is just you pick the date of when you want to retire, and the portfolio is supposed to do the magic for you. It's supposed to kind of already align as to how that's going to be invested in your best interest. So this is an interesting one. This is for this actually was based on a real life client of mine who just came in with this exact problem. She says, hey, they're telling me use this target date fund, but I've got this whole list of funds to pick from. They're not really giving me, they being the 401k firm, it's not really giving me much guidance on this. It's up to me to pick these investments, but you're my investment guy. What do I do? So I'm sharing with you exactly what I did for her, just so you kind of get the idea of why it's not such a great idea just to go with the easy way out, to hit the easy button, so to speak, and just use a target date fund. At least it wasn't a good fit for this particular client. We'll show you why. So right here on my screen, you will see the target date fund that she was recommended. And they said, hey, just put 100% in there because she's only going to work another year or two. That's why it's like a 2020 target date. It's, a target date fund from this year, because she's really not going to hold this account very long. And that was her particular situation. So again, your situation, I'm sure it's going to be different, but I think you'll still get value from seeing this process. Okay. So first off, one of the things we're going to look at on this target date fund is the drawdown, and we're going to compare the drawdown of this target date fund compared to the drawdown of the recommended allocations that we were going to show her or recommend for her. Now, a lot of people don't know what a drawdown is, so I'm just going to explain that really briefly. It's very simple. This is the fund. This is on Yahoo Finance, and you can see back in 2007, in this most recent market cycle, we're going to go back to the last high before the last big drop off, excluding COVID-19, because we're still in the middle of that. So we go back to the last high, which was 2007, and you can see there the stock price was about $24 a share. And then just a few months later here in 2000, well, I guess a year and a half later, in 2009, it was down to $14 a share. So if we look, if we take a look and we say, okay, from here, down to here, we call this the drawdown, right? This is the drop off, and it took all the way to over here, like back in 2013, before here's 2013, before we could get back to even on this account. So that's a big loss, right? A big drawdown amount, a big loss of her funds. So we can compare that number on different holdings and on different even portfolios. And we can look at the drawdown and say, well, hey, Tony, I'm not really comfortable with losing 40, 50% of my money. I want a portfolio with a smaller drawdown or less risk. It's another way of saying, it's another way of measuring risk. Okay. So I just wanted to kind of show you that drawdown before I make the comparison. So let me erase this. See here. So this is the current allocation that they are recommending. And then this is our optimized allocation. You can see, and this is in the same 401k fund. This didn't involve moving her money to me. This just involved utilizing the same 401k fund that she has access to right now. So what we did is we looked at what we do is we do a risk adjusted allocation based on how she answered a bunch of risk questions, right? So we're not just looking at rates of return. We're looking at rates of return versus how much risk you're taking to achieve those rates of return. And then we're comparing that to how much risk are you really even comfortable taking? How much ups and downs can you handle? Everybody's a little different. So we did a risk tolerance for this client. We looked at her age. We know she's going to retire pretty quickly. She has other accounts. We took all that into consideration, and we came up with this right here. And this is the allocation that we thought would be best for her. So the question is, well, is it really better? Is this pretty pie chart better than owning, just that target date fund? And is there a way we can measure that and show the client, what's best for them? Well, there is a best way to do this, and there is a way to measure it. So let's take a look at what that is. We're going to go back to the current, and I'm going to scroll down to a sheet here. We're just going to look at one, pardon my scrolling, one set of numbers, performance numbers, and then we're going to also look at the performance numbers on the recommended allocation, and we're going to compare two easy to follow numbers. You guys are going to totally understand this and walk away saying, wow, that's pretty interesting. So here's the deal. We're going to look at number one, the annualized total return. So this is just the average rate of return over that same period that I just showed you on that chart. This chart here. Oops. Sorry. This chart here, right? We looked at this big drop off. This is from 2007 through today. This is the time frame we're looking at. Okay. And we're going to go back to the current plan. The annual rate of return is what? Well, right here from October 2007 through today was an average rate of return of 5%. That's not bad. That was on the target date fund. But in order to achieve that 5%, what was the drawdown? What was the risk that the client had to take, the potential loss of her account that she would have to potentially experience over that time frame? Well, in this account, the drawdown was over 40%. That's, 40% of her money was at stake in order to earn 5%. That's pretty big. Now, let's look at the benefit of having a more balanced, better allocated investment portfolio versus just a target date fund. Here, this is the recommended course for this client. And notice the annualized rate of return was much higher, 6.8% return. So we got a higher growth rate. That's good, right? Much higher growth rate from 5.1 to 6.8. That's a big difference. And then look at the maximum drawdown, 18%. We cut the risk basically from 42%, I think it was, to 18. Oh, here, go back and forth. 42.2 to 18.5. That's cutting the risk literally in half on this account by doing what? Just looking at a properly allocated plan. So we have something we call it a 401k. We call it a 401k optimizer, where we do a little process with you, and we ask you, a series of questions to see what your comfort level is. We see what your time horizon is. When do you expect to use the money? How long can we leave it invested? All these great questions, and then we create an optimized portfolio, even inside of the existing 401k. Because some of my clients, when they come to me, they're stuck in that plan. They can't move it over to us. Obviously, I would prefer to manage that money for them. But sometimes that's not the case, right? In this case, this was for a client who had recently changed jobs. She's starting up, she's spending the last piece of her career with a different company, and she wanted to, she's starting new with them, and she's only going to be there a year or two, and then she's going to retire. Well, in that year or two, why not put money away and at the same time get a match from the company? And that's free money. So yeah, we're going to do that, and we're going to utilize her existing 401k plan, but she still wants to optimize it, right? And so that's something we do. Just so you know, that is something we do for our clients. If you have other assets with us and you're a client of ours, just because the money isn't parked with our firm doesn't mean we can't help you optimize it. And so there is a right way to do this. There is a right way to invest your money inside your 401k. There's ways to get more out of it. Those accounts also need to be rebalanced every so often to make sure that you're still optimizing and it's still on a track. And that's the advantage of working with a financial advisor versus just kind of winging it. A lot of people wing it. They do the target date thing. They do the water cooler advice. They ask the guy next to him, what did you invest in? That's not the way to invest a portfolio. It should be really tailored to you. Everybody's circumstances are different. Everybody has a different time frame between when they're going to retire. This woman was going to retire in just 2 years. Other people are 3, 4, 5, 6 years off or more. That's going to that's going to affect how you should be investing, right? So anyway, I just wanted to give you kind of this quick down and dirty view of why optimizing a portfolio makes a lot of sense. It's a service we do for our clients without any additional charge to do that. If you're interested in optimizing your 401k, let us know. Maybe we should talk. Before we do that, though, on this page, there should be another video that talks about how to avoid going broke in retirement while securing your nest egg. It's about 10, 12 minutes long. If you haven't done so yet, please check out that video. I think you'll get a ton of value out of that video, and it'll really help you in deciding what's best for you. So watch that video now. Thanks for watching this video, and contact us if you have any questions and would like to talk more. Thanks so much, and have a great day.